$10. You got to keep that boot on there, though. My boots stay on.
We got a warehouse full of claims, dude. I'll put like 40 of them on there.
The holder of the world record in Pro Street, the KC Turbo Crew from Mesa, Arizona.
All right, welcome to the KC Turbos podcast show. We've got Josh and Justin, Cameron, Charlie here. Josh and Justin came all the way out from Texas for a little bit of a tour, a little bit of dyno time, a little bit of turbo building time. And I just wanted to get you on, Cameron. Like, why don't you tell the audience a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, so we are actually located in Bryan, Texas. We have an automotive shop there. We also do, I guess I could say, pretty big YouTuber. We have
Kind of a big deal.
Kind of a big deal. No, I'm kidding. We're not that big yet. We wish we were bigger, but kind of the main things that we came out here for was to do some videos with Charlie, because we move a lot of KC turbos at my shop, and I probably get 3-4 calls a day of people like, oh, why buy a KC turbo? Why should I buy a KC turbo? And I was like, well, I got to go see this place for myself. So that's kind of why we're down here, and I mean, that's mainly why we're here.
It's been a blast, too. It's been a fun week.
It's worked out great.
Yeah, we've had a good time.
It was cool meeting you in person because I've watched a bunch of your videos. I'm sure a bunch of you guys watching our videos have probably seen their videos. If you haven't, head over to Powerstroke Central on YouTube. A bunch of cool videos on there. But meeting you in person was just totally different. It was different to get to know Justin, too. I know he's on camera a little bit, but not quite as much as you are. It was cool.
Y'all are definitely the hospitality down here is unreal. I mean, y'all's customer service is crazy.
Yeah, that's what we saw as well. You know, like right when you walked in, it's like it felt like we were family here, just right off the rip.
I feel like I know y'all for 10 years.
I know.
Especially Cameron is like probably the most outgoing guy that I've ever met. I mean, he's just like almost too optimistic for me.
Quit worrying.
You're like 50-50. Got freaking flames. Look at the thing.
I got track by, so I don't even need to worry about it today. Hell yeah!
Take your poison. I think my truck is okay for now.
I mean, we throw like 100 shot of nitrous at her, and he's like
10 times that, but it's fine.
It's okay. Okay, yeah.
He had his helmet on, so it was
10
good.
times that.
I was safe. I don't know about your guys or your motor.
And he just lets it rip, and I'm just like, holy shit, I'm bricks, and Cameron's just, let's get that nitrous going.
Let's do it,
it's
man.
good. Let's go. Let's sling it.
So if you haven't seen his video yet, I'm not sure which one I'll post first, but he came out, did a little tour of the shop, and then we built your turbo right there with you. Slapped on your truck, put it on the dyno, and made 1137 horsepower.
1137
with
horsepower.
a little shot of nitrous.
1,700.
1,700 foot-pounds of torque.
So it made 650 on fuel. It's a KC Stage 3 ball bearing with 205 100s, 650 on fuel. We could have turned it up a little bit more, but you were happy with the fuel only number, and then you're like, let's hit the nitrous.
I wasn't going to fight for 10 extra horsepower.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think trying to beat the shit out of my 6.0 is not going to be what I'm looking for 10 extra horsepower.
We're not that big in competition, too, around what we have.
Not yet.
10 extra horsepower where we're from is kind of hard to, we don't have a lot of fast diesel trucks.
Yeah, exactly. 10 extra
Either you're
horsepower.
racing against 2,200 or you're racing against 800. You know what I mean? It's a big difference.
Yeah.
So then you wanted to go for the gold, and you're like, no, I want to see 1,000 horsepower.
Yeah, you came
on
out
the
as
sheet.
Well, so my
original
goal was like, let's do 1,000 at the crank, because the title of the video is going to be I built 1,000 horsepower 6.0 Powerstroke. So the goal was we did it.
Yeah,
we did it, and we didn't do it at first. Y'all were with me. Am I allowed to cuss on this?
Go for it.
Probably bleep it out.
Okay.
Bleep it,
Y'all were messing with me and said that we wouldn't do 1,000 horsepower, or we would do 1,000 horsepower on nitrous.
Yeah.
And so I didn't believe y'all, and we were like, we'll probably do 800, 900, and then 1,200 or 1137 was not.
Okay,
what I was
you
expecting.
said you really wanted to see 1,000 horsepower, and I was like, well, let's ease into the nitrous, just like spray a little bit. And you said no.
Let's get
one
into
nitrous
it.
pass,
Let's do
and
it.
that's it. And
Let's
I was
give
like,
her
all right,
hell.
if we're gonna do one nitrous pass, we're gonna give her the beans.
Yeah.
So we
on a hurt front cylinder too. Y'all know if y'all seen my videos on Powerstroke Central, that first cylinder is destroyed.
Is that the one that had the piston marks in it? Yeah.
Piston marks all over it, and it made that pull. That was crazy. I'm surprised he didn't have to use his helmet.
Yeah.
Some people don't know what a ghetto fog is.
Yeah.
So we posted on Facebook, and it's funny how people get their feelings hurt. A tiny, quick shot, it just means that it was just on and off. So it was you can actually see the truck on the dyno. It's like, wow. You can see like lift up off, and camera just like crack the bottle open, but just full open, no jets, all the nitrous, but only for a split second.
And we lost the nitrous too. I mean, the hose popped out.
Yeah, the hose did pop
out
out
of the bottle, or out of the intake. That was crazy. That was the craziest thing I've ever seen. I've been doing this for a long time, so Definitely next is the 6.4. Maybe we throw some nitrous at the 6.4.
Oh,
6.4,
yeah.
And Piston really gonna lead the chat.
Yeah, stock
Piston's
Pistons.
really gonna be fucked. Yeah.
That sounds like crack to me.
Oh yeah. Well, see what it holds, like the 6.0. If the 6.0 holds 1,100 horsepower, I mean that's her cap. Like that's all she can hold.
that's-
1137.
You're asking a lot.
That's it.
You
That's
wouldn't be
all
able to
she
make a
has.
track pass doing that.
Oh,
A
100%.
quick dyno
It
blip.
would
That's
be
what people don't
boom.
understand. It was literally like. Like that. It was quick.
Yeah.
You would not make it down the track making that much horsepower. I think 1137 could be the most horsepower I've seen on a
Yeah.
stock bottom end 6.0.
Well, we're
in
gonna
the
figure
world.
that out. I want to know if I have the record or not, because that would be definitely
I've seen some
impressive.
people saying, "Oh yeah, I think
Yeah.
we made like no," but you have a dyno.
You
graph,
have to
like,
show the
You're-
dyno numbers,
you're
and we
only on the
have
dyno
we
graph.
have a 40-minute long video of
Yeah.
him shooting the nitrous, us filming everything, so we
got
know
the
for a
data logs,
fact,
we've
we
got
know
the
for a
dyno
fact
graphs.
that we made 1137 on the dyno,
Yeah.
and everything was 100%. So, Charlie, I know you said you own some cars, 30
Oh.
cars. I asked you down there, and I was like, he owns 30 cars. I don't think you knew that.
Wow.
But I was down there, and you know how Asher has all the little keys, the rings,
Key box,
The
yeah.
key box. I was like, so what is this? All customer vehicles? Because like, no, those are mine.
Oh.
There's like 15 keys on there. That's
To be
crazy.
honest, I don't know how many cars I have. I just threw
That's
out
a
30.
good problem.
lot
That's a
of
good
them-
problem to have.
Look, every turbo that I
Yeah.
make, I own the vehicle for. So
Yeah.
like I have multiple 7.3s, 6.0s, 6.4, multiple 6.7s. We've got some EcoBoost now. Getting a Cummins,
Getting a Duramax.
getting a Duramax.
Yeah.
I drive cars too. You know,
Yeah.
I'm a big car guy, not just a diesel guy. I love cars. So at any given time, around 30. Yeah. We sold 2 car. I got rid of 2 of my Corvettes last week. I had a couple of C6s. I had to let go because I want to buy a super clean OBS. I want like a 1996.
You can buy mine.
That's not clean, but
No, I'm talking. I
Yeah,
saw
like-
one. I found one for sale this week. Regular cab, long bed, original owner, 90,000 original miles.
We had one roll into the shop like that.
Yeah.
Exactly like
You know
that.
one for sale.
10
I
grand
am looking.
He bought it for.
Oh.
10 grand he
And
bought
it
that
was
truck
immaculate.
for.
Like,
96,000 miles. He stole it from some old man.
The one I
guy.
saw was for 30 grand. I was
Yeah,
like, ooh,
that sounds a little bit
that's-
more right. Yeah, that sounds a little bit more
steep.
right. But it was 96,000 miles rolled into the shop. He was just getting some performance upgrades, I believe.
KC,
yeah, we
yeah.
got a KC Whistler, and or not a Whistler. Those are
300X.
different.
Yeah.
The 300X for before. That was before y'all launched the new style ones. But yeah, 96,000 miles. I was like, so how much did you pay for it? And he was like, I only paid 10,000 for it.
Stole that.
I was
truck.
like, where did you get it from? Some old farm
Yeah,
guy.
old farm boy, yeah.
Stole it from him. I was like, damn, that sucks.
I blame Paul Rutledge for my problem
Yeah.
because when he was out
CP
here,
Addicts?
yeah, he was
Yeah.
out here not
Oh.
too long ago, just like talking about OBSs, and I've been googling them more, and looking at pictures, and now I'm gonna get one. I have to add that.
That
to my
giveaway
fleet.
truck is crazy that y'all are doing that.
Oh,
we
yeah.
launched
truck.
it and blew that boot again.
no,
Yeah.
we tried.
You really tried to put that.
I mean, just first second gone.
It was
Yeah,
immediately gone.
immediately blew
but
up.
it makes 50 pounds of boost
Yeah.
like
Dude,
that.
it might be close.
50 pounds.
It might be
50
close to the
pounds of boost.
6.0. Like he bet me
It's
$10 that it would beat the 6.0.
I'm gonna come back. I
0 to
will pay
60.
up if I lose, but I'm gonna get it fixed, and I'm gonna
I would
launch
like
the crap out
go
of
ahead
it.
and get that draggy ready, and I'd
Drag
love
it
to see
ready,
it.
maybe
'cause
some
we'll
drag
see.
slicks
we'll
and
put
some
the slicks on.
nitrous.
We'll see.
We'll get it
We'll see.
on.
How much do you want for those slicks? 'Cause I'm serious. I would buy them. I
We're-
need some.
we gotta
Oh well,
keep
like
them
give me a
around.
year because we got a lot of work over that 6.0.
Yeah, you
We're not
said
gonna
you
put-
want to shoot for even bigger horsepower numbers next year.
Yeah, we want to do like some crazy numbers next year. I think we're gonna do a full built everything.
Yeah,
I don't even know
just
where to
throw
go.
some rods in it
Throw
and
some
yeah,
rods
be
and
good.
pistons.
You think of
That's-
big compounds, or you just going to spray the balls off of it?
Well, I'm gonna take your advice and probably just spray it.
I don't know. A lot of guys have gone to just single turbo. You can invest 10, 15 grand into a big compound setup,
Yeah.
or just a little bit more nitrous.
Well, how big of a single turbo could you get to make 1,000 horsepower at the crank or at the wheel?
6.0s are really tough. I talked with Jesse Warren about this, and on some of his trucks, he's shown me some crazy high single turbo numbers. Anytime I put a 6.0 on the dyno, and I've ran anything from like a 72 millimeter up to an 85 millimeter turbo, all different brands. I've tried building some. It's tough to crack 1,000. I don't know why. They just don't drive the turbos very hard. You can put a teeny tiny shot of nitrous on that and make 2,000 horsepower.
Yeah.
But to get over 1,000 fuel only, it's tough on the 6.0. I think because it's a smaller bore, it's only 6.0 liters.
Yeah.
And it just doesn't have the exhaust flow. It just can't drive the turbos very hard. So people often go compounds or nitrous. So, like, I mean, you made 1,100 today with
That's
just
crazy.
You could just
Yeah.
put a nitrous kit on there and
make
make the
1,100
same
all the
horsepower,
time.
or
Pretty
you know,
much, yeah.
15 to 20
Yeah.
grand in a big turbo kit with gates, compound turbos, a bigger intercooler. It just depends. It's
How are we
tough.
gonna make the nitrous so reliable? Is at the bottom.
Well, if you build a bottom end, a 6.0 with a rods will hold 1,200 horsepower.
Yeah.
No problem. You probably just get a nitrous control, because what we did was a ghetto fog. You can't do that.
Yeah.
I mean, good.
I'm sure people have tried.
That's the
Imagine
most
trying to-
unreliable.
Wire to the window washer switch, dude. It's
Just shoot
So
it out
step
of there.
one is people typically put like a button on the steering wheel, and then they'll just press the button while they're racing. And, a 136 jet. Actually, we had Eric's truck on the dyno last week with a 136 jet. The bottle wasn't even full. It was pretty low and cold. I think it added 400 horsepower, 350 horsepower with a 136 jet. I can show you what that looks like. It's like
Just a
0.136
barely
inches.
spraying it. Yeah.
Well, it's a pretty good spray, but one 136 jet will add 300 to 400 horsepower. Two 136 jets will add 500 to 600 horsepower.
Yeah.
So you could add 136 jets and go faster than any truck out there.
So what is your fastest truck that you have?
Hunter. Race
Hunter,
truck.
yeah.
For the
Hunter.
race
I mean,
truck? What
you
is
saw
like what is
Lucky.
the 0 to 60 quarter mile time on that? Like what is your
8th mile's like 5 flat.
That's crazy.
Okay,
Holy
5.
shit.
People are going to call me out.
Yeah,
I've done
5:12.
5:12.
Oh,
We
you
wanna
gotta get
pass
below
that.
5. You gotta get below 5.
That's the goal for this
Yeah.
year. We want to be in the
Yeah.
5s.
That's crazy.
That's
Below
with the
fives.
new truck. Lucky, actually, you saw Lucky on the
Yeah.
side of the
Oh,
building.
yeah,
She's
on
under
the
the
side of the
tarp.
building over there,
We
yeah.
went 563 in that truck.
Yeah.
So we'd like to get Hunter into the 4s.
What's even like? What's the 0? Because I always say 0 to on my channel is 0 to 60s. What is 0 to 60
Oh
on
my
that?
god.
I don't know.
Seconds.
You can tell
I
they're
know
60
this.
foot. Yeah.
I could go look it up.
That's
Yeah.
probably what it'll take to get 60 miles an hour. 60 foot.
The
60 foot, you're already
60
at
foot.
60
Do you know
mile
any
an
of your 60 foot numbers?
Yeah, 1.79. That was our
1.79.
60 foot time when we did that 3.71.
So we're like 1.1 to 1.2s. I've been in the 1.1s once. We're
Yeah.
usually in the
120s.
1.2s.
Yeah.
Oh, on the 60 foot.
Yeah.
That's still
Yeah,
pretty
under
insane.
1.5 is quick.
So to give you an idea, like that 512,
Yeah,
that's like 140 miles an hour in 5 seconds.
that's crazy. Yeah.
So 0 to 60 mile an hour, it's probably
3?
sub 2. No, it's
Two?
got to be. It's almost instant.
Yeah.
Like by the 60 foot, I think
Yeah,
you're going over
it's
60
what does
miles
that
an
feel
hour.
like in the car?
Like a jet taking off. It's just like
Someone
we gotta
punches you
go.
in
We
the
gotta
head.
go one
you
time
start to
and-
black out just a little bit when you. It's nothing
Nah,
like it in the
really?
world. You know how roller coasters kind of like throw you back
Yeah.
in your seat? They feel slow after you've been
Yeah.
in a race truck
You
like
say
that.
you start to black out.
Oh yeah, you can start to black out just a little
Yeah,
bit when
you
you
really
launch.
gotta keep the
Are you
the
for real?
diaphragm
Like y'all are
locked in.
dead ass. Like y'all aren't.
You don't
messing
totally.
with me.
geez,
You ever
that's
been on a
good.
roller
Race car
coaster?
driver.
Y'all been messing with me a lot here.
No,
so
we're actually
I-
not really with you. this
You're
time.
not me this time. That's
You ever been on a
insane.
roller coaster?
Yeah. I
Where
have.
you like start to black out a little bit, they go and you go,
Yeah.
and then like you can kind of start to see everything go black,
Oh, yeah.
and then it stops.
That's insane.
And that's what happens when you
Yeah.
launch.
Holy.
Every time.
I want to do that.
Yeah.
Let's
Nothing
do
like
that. Hell yeah. That's like the most fun you can have. I think that's probably the most fun of actually doing my videos is the 0 to 60s.
Yeah.
Like the end result.
Oh yeah.
It's also
It's
a lot of
always
money.
it's
a lot of
yeah.
money.
Yeah,
It's a lot of
A lot of money. But that
Yeah.
feeling, some people might not know what a four-wheel drive boosted launch is. Why don't you tell them what they mean by a four-wheel drive
Yeah,
boosted
locking
launch
the
for the
hubs.
60?
Well, for me, locking the hubs. Lots of
Yeah.
people, when you're,
That can don't
four-wheel
work.
drive doesn't work too well. You have to lock the hubs. But I lock the hubs, flip the switch, and then you're boosting it up to like 20.
So you're on the
30.
brake, you're on the
brake,
gas,
doing a
you can
boosted
see
launch.
the boost gauge climbing. So that's what they mean by boosted launches. You're pre-building all that boost, and it's just sitting there waiting to take off.
Yeah, and then when it does, you're gone.
It just
Like, it's-
throws you back in your
Yeah.
seat. If you have a diesel truck and it's
You know.
four-wheel drive and you haven't done a boosted launch yet, go home tonight, Google boosted launch, and do it. It'll
If you
change your
drive
life.
At your own
Dodge,
risk.
do not. Do
Oh yeah,
that.
no, you don't want to limp your trans.
at your own risk, of course, because you're gonna really blow.
We're
some
not
shit
telling
up
you to
doing
do
that.
this. Case Service does not condone that type of activity.
That's,
Yeah.
that's probably 90% of our customers, to be honest. Me doing some stupid shit on the line,
Yeah. Hey, I
doing
wanna
boosted
do that.
launches, and they're
Yeah.
like, "I'll do that," and then, "Hey, Josh, is this PSC Automotive?"
Hey, how much do you guys charge for training?
Yeah, how much y'all charge for a transfer case? What happened? Well, we shattered her. I was like,
Yes.
damn.
Oh,
all right.
I mean, Cameron's been mastering his boosted launch. You raced Jake three
Yeah.
times,
Yeah.
and you
Like 4 or 5,
left
yeah.
in slow motion on the first few,
Yeah.
and then by the end you jumped and you got
nailed him.
Nailed him. Yeah. So Cameron, he's got.
I
This is your
learned it
first
took
diesel
me some
truck, right?
time, yeah.
Yeah. If
Yeah.
you haven't followed his videos, he's got his bone stock to badass videos.
All the 7.3 trucks are beating all the 6.0 trucks right now.
You act like there's something wrong with that.
That's on the
Badass.
main channel, right?
Yeah.
On his main
Yeah.
channel.
Kind of
Yeah.
building your truck up, starting from stock, and you're gonna
Yeah.
build it up.
Gonna blow it up and then take the engine back out and then build it up.
I would
you
be
know?
so scared for this guy to actually own a fast truck. Like, actually own a rowdy truck. He's like, it's whatever. We'll blow it up. Put a new one
Pretty
in.
much, yeah.
Put a new one in. Blow
It's
it
just
up. Put a
parts,
new one in.
dude. Yeah, as long as I can afford the parts, yeah, I'll blow it up.
That's
Yeah.
crazy. Like you just let her eat, no worries. Like
Yeah,
he
I mean,
sometimes
that's
just
what
tells
it's
me not
built
to stress
for.
out. I'm always the stressed out guy.
You're the
Yeah.
stressed out one. I thought you were
Yeah.
telling me he likes to start his trucks and just
Rev limiter.
just sits on the rev limiter.
No warm up time.
No
just
warm-up
let her
time.
just
Oh,
be
yeah.
Dude,
cold.
the injectors love that.
Yeah.
Come on, dude. Just
Yeah.
break
That's
them
what I'm
in.
talking about right there, dude. That's what I'm talking about.
I think honestly, it's a lot of people I think do come our way is because how hard we beat on our stuff.
We beat on our
and
stuff.
It's holding up
relatively okay.
The reason he beats on it is he knows you're just going to fix it.
Oh
Right?
yeah, it's a lot easier. It's a lot easier when you're just
time.
behind the camera.
You're behind the camera and just ripping on it. That's all.
You're all talk. He's all work. Is that?
I'm behind the camera
You're
a lot
behind the
more
camera,
times, but there's
on the
no way
phone.
for marketing to happen without.
He'll feel a little
doing
frisky and grab a wrench and it's a little bit out of your pay league. Guys. Let me grab that thing.
I did grab a couple wrenches for the head stub job.
I can tell you're super knowledgeable. I'm not saying you're not, but I can just tell that you've got
I'm
a lot
not
of
knowledgeable.
mechanic background. I can tell
He
you
used to
worked on
race.
cars a long time.
He used to race cars.
I used to race super late models, pro
with
late
like
models, pro trucks.
the big guys too, like who? Kyle Busch, right?
I raced with Kyle Busch, Chase Elliott,
Yeah, we were
Harrison
just talking
Burton.
about this in the truck.
A lot of big names now. They're in NASCAR, you know.
Yeah.
But that was a big part of my life was super late model racing, and I mean it's a privilege. I mean not many people get to that opportunity, but racing was definitely a cool thing for me.
Yeah.
I mean my dad really brought me into road. He was big into road course racing, and then I kind of like the roundy round circle track. I'm from Texas, you know, a little on the redneck side, but
I like to make left-hand
yeah,
turns.
left-hand turns.
Gotta turn left, baby.
You get someone from road course though, and come turn left. It's a little harder than you think.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
it's a lot more suspension. You know, a lot more chassis wise. What you have to do to make it go fast.
And
you
that's the
you can be
same
the best driver in
G-force.
the world. You're just a monkey.
Yeah.
You know, and the person who makes it fast is the guy who's wrenching on it. You know.
And that's the G-force too.
Oh yeah, the
That's
G-force is
G-force like
yeah.
he has.
Yeah. I mean, you really only see it in the corner, but when you're going, 140 off into a corner and
Yeah.
hoping it's going to stick, that's
and that's for
something,
like hundreds of laps, right?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
our 300 laps is snowball derby.
Oh my
yeah.
gosh.
Yeah.
That's a
Yeah,
long
like
way.
you
your
have to
boost
be
should
fit.
launch, but hundreds
Yeah.
of laps. That's crazy.
That's the thing about drag racing is I love drag racing, but it's over in an instant.
Yeah.
Like you asked 5 seconds. I mean that 5 seconds is over quick. I mean 100
Yeah.
laps. That's different.
insane.
It's a lot of as a driver, how much you have to put into it, how much you got to save your tires, how much you can put power to the ground, and really got to think about where you're at on the track to be able to be there at the last 20 to compete with the guys up front. It's a hard thing to do, but you got good people behind you. You can make it go fast. But when as a driver and then to working on cars, it's a lot more accomplishing and a better feeling as you're working on the car to make it go fast. Because as a driver, you're a monkey. I mean, you still gotta be good, but as a driver, you're doing a small part.
Yeah.
It's similar to drag racing.
See,
Like
it's
with
exactly
the,
what I was gonna say.
With
Same thing.
With Hunter and the race truck, like it's cool and like, oh wow, he did really good pointing the steering wheel straight while going down
he
the
timed
track.
his feet and the line lock and the nitrous. It's
The time behind the scenes of building the truck, specking the truck,
Your
testing the
suspension
truck,
tuning.
suspension
Oh my
tuning.
God.
It's a lot. A lot goes into the mechanic side. And it's cool seeing the mechanic, the face of the company, having you guys out here because I've watched your videos for a while and it looks like you guys have a lot of fun out there.
I spend a lot of time on those videos too, so that's like you're saying behind the scenes stuff. Like I probably he does majority of the wrenching, so that's a lot of people are like, well, what do you actually do? I'm actually the one making the videos. Like a lot of people he knows, especially because he's got all these cameras set up here. He knows it's a lot of work to set up the cameras, set up the mics, get everything set up right, do all the YouTube analytics, make sure that the video is edited perfectly. Like I don't spare any time on my videos.
A 15-minute long video. How long do you spend editing it?
Realistically, I always say 60 hours I spend, but like filming, producing, editing, it's realistically probably like 45 hours.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, like this one I got a whole montage and that took me 4 days to do all of it, and then it's going to take me another 3-4. It'll probably take me a full week to edit this.
Yeah.
Like I'm talking solid days where you don't get up out of the computer editing.
You'll walk in the office and his eyes will be squinted and look at you and you're like, hey bud, can you help me hold this real quick?
Hold this wrench, and then he gets me off the thing. I'm like, damn, I could have just been. Like I'm so in my computer. I'm sure you're like that too. Whenever you're working, you're in your zone.
Get in the zone.
Yeah, I get on the
Can't
dyno
stop.
and I'm just dyno.
Yeah, dynoing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like obsessing over it.
That's
It's
cool.
like, I've always wanted to do that since I was a little kid, like 13 years old. I was like, I always want to just do YouTube. Like, I could care less about anything else but just getting this YouTube channel to where it's 2 million. Like Cletus McFarland, I want to be like him.
The new Cletus.
I want to be the biggest guy you can. Now, obviously, since we have a shop, we can't put JB Weld on head gaskets as head gaskets, but we can.
I mean, you could. You might lose a few customers.
Yeah, we can't necessarily do that and show that to the world, so we have to try to do it like right and actually do it. Where
Just pretend to do it right.
Yeah,
that's what we do. It
Hey,
works great.
you can ghetto fog your truck on the dyno. Like,
exactly.
there you go.
Yeah, and make 12 or almost 1,200 horsepower. Yeah. So what was the actual torque number on it? 17.
I have to look it up. It was 17 something.
Yeah, 1741 maybe, something like that.
Something crazy.
Yeah, a lot of torque.
So, which shop did you like better? Did you like, because we have two shops. We have the one in AJ where we do all the dyno and the mechanic work and the R&D, and then the Mesa shop. Which one impressed you and surprised you more?
I
This
think.
one right here.
Oh well, yeah, this one for sure more. But like the fun shop would probably be the dyno. This shop is more of like holy. Like, this is crazy. The operation is overwhelming here. But over at the dyno, it's like, man, let's get rowdy over here. You know, like let's have some fun time. Like that's the shop you go to get away, and then this is like let's get shit done.
Yeah, Cameron likes hanging out at the other shop, so do I. But most of the work at KC Turbos gets done here. The parts in, parts out, building turbos, manufacturing everything. I mean, manufacturing. You asked me about that. What do we do here? It's not like we're mining ore here, but you know, you could see pallets of compressor wheels, turbine wheels, compressor covers, turbine housings, turbos. You know, with all those parts and organizing them and building all the different options, it's probably a lot more than you were thinking.
Oh, it's way more. Personally, I thought y'all were going to be in like a shop the size of this podcast. I was like, man, we're going to go to some
probably just like
shack.
Me, Charlie, Jason.
And then they're all on the computer. And then we got in here and I was like, all right, front office is a little big. And then I got to the next customer service. I was like, how many employees you need to run a damn turbo company here? And then I was like, there's more?
Yeah,
I was like, holy shit.
Oh, you want to see our upstairs?
Yeah.
You're like, there's an upstairs?
There's an upstairs. They showed me the warehouse. I was like, damn, this is a big little spot. And then he was like, well, we got that section over there too. And I was like, oh my God, when does it end? And then I asked the first time to go to the restroom. Yeah, it's right around the corner there to the left, right, upstairs, downstairs, center. And then I was like, where do I go pee around here? You got to walk a mile or across this place. It's 40,000 square feet, correct?
Yeah, and there's 30 of us now.
That's
so
crazy.
It's become a pretty big operation. And it's maybe a little bigger than it needs to be because I'm not the kind of guy that's just going to drop ship turbos. Like, we have people answering the phones that eat, sleep, and breathe these trucks.
How do you start that?
Building them.
How do you even, how did you start that? Like,
well, I mean, I bought a 6.0 Powerstroke.
Yeah.
And if you guys didn't know, they could be problematic.
Yeah.
No.
this guy, bro.
15 years ago, you could pick up any 6-liter for like $2 or $3 grand because nobody wanted it.
I bought mine for $4,000.
Yeah, well, that's a good deal now. Back in the day, you could buy a low mileage, under 100,000 crew cab, short bed, 4x4 Lariat. Nobody wanted them.
Yeah.
Nobody
like
wanted them.
$3,000, $4,000.
Of course, that's the truck I bought. You know, and it had problems. I learned to work on it. I fixed a lot of those problems. I was part of the crew or the whatever you want to call it, the forums that were like researching which head studs work and what to torque them to and how to fix it and why are the EGR coolers failing. I was in that, early era of people finding the problems, and then once you figure out how to fix them, then we wanted to make them go fast. So I started making my truck go fast. I bought Warren diesel injectors. That's how I met Warren Diesel.
Yeah.
And then I bought a turbo and put it on there, and I was just super disappointed with the turbo.
Yeah.
It just didn't perform well. But I got online and everyone said, oh, that's the best turbo there is. And they said there's got to be something wrong with your truck. And I learned everything I could about the trucks. I met all the tuners. I got all their tunes. I was dynoing it. And it just didn't perform to my expectations. So I pulled the turbo off and I went down to turbo and electric, actually. And I went and spoke with Jeffy and Mott's down there. They're not there anymore. They've died. I think Jeffy died.
Okay.
Rest in peace.
No, I think Mott's died. I know Jeff died.
They didn't get fired or anything? They just died?
No, Jeff, it's a long story, but Jeff ended up working for us like a decade later.
Okay.
Anyways, went down to their shop. They helped me take the turbos apart, spec'd out some wheels, what we thought would work better, got the parts ordered. They machined the turbo and put it together for me, put it on the truck, ran fantastic. It was incredible. And I didn't sit down and write a business plan. I just spec'd a turbo and had the parts ordered and had someone make it for me.
That's how all small businesses start. You don't have a business plan. It's just one thing after
I need
another.
to fix this, bro.
It's all small businesses start from a problem.
Well, I posted about it online, and I started getting these private messages from people that said, hey, I bought the same turbo and had the same issue. Because it wasn't just that it didn't run well. I was misled in the beginning because I was told to send in my core. And I was told it was going to take 1 to 2 weeks. And I was like, this is my daily driver. I cannot be down for months. And he's like, look, 1 to 2 weeks max. So I pulled my turbo out, rushed it to him. Months later, I'm calling, emailing, demanding my money back. So the hassle of getting the turbo was a pain. And then I was disappointed in the turbo. And everyone online said, they're the best. They're the best.
If they're the best, then the
bar's
low. The bar's
right?
down here.
The bar was very low.
Yeah.
So I started getting those messages, and then I was like, well, I don't really do this for a living, but I guess I can. I mean, I've always been to cars, worked on cars, sold cars.
Yeah, big car flipper.
I've always been a car guy.
Craigslist pirate right
here.
I
was a Craigslist
I'm a
pirate
marketplace
back in
kid,
the
too.
day.
We love our marketplace.
So I started on the side, just building a couple of turbos here and there. I'd order enough parts to build 2 or 3 turbos, and I'd bundle up a bunch of cores. I actually remember going to all the mechanic shops in town and saying, hey, you have any 6.0 turbos I could buy? And I bought up all the cores, and I took them down, and I would build just a couple at a time and sell it a couple at a time. And then it got busier. and then busier. And then I started building it myself out of my garage. I built out a shop. I bought a balancer.
I actually saw that.
Yeah,
I
we
saw
went there
that
today.
whole operation today. That's
it's
crazy.
all Christmas decorations and kids' toys
Yeah,
now.
I know.
but-
To see where you came from that little workbench is absolutely just blown my mind.
So and then it's just grown year over year. But what I strive for the whole time is, look, I want to have good customer service because I got treated wrong. I'm not just a guy selling parts. I'm also driving these trucks. I also mod my trucks. I buy the parts. I get to experience what customers go through, and I was like, I don't want my customers to go through that. So I wanted to make sure we had the best customer service, the best product, and then I wanted to be at the cutting edge of innovation the whole time, which is probably what's kept me in it. I spent a lot of time on the dyno, changing things, testing things, building trucks, racing trucks, and I love it. So, yeah, started off as a hobby, ended up in my garage, maybe like Amazon, Jeff Bezos started out in his garage, and then it just grew and grew. And we were working out of my garage, I think with 4 employees. Jason he sat on the couch with his laptop. I was at the kitchen table. Austin was in the garage. Sarah was in the garage, and then Casey was helping after hours. And Casey is, if you guys don't know, Casey, my wife, she is the only reason this company is here because I didn't have any money. There was no backing. I didn't have any rich parents to give me money, no loans. I had my wife. And she worked her job, and I quit mine. And she said, look, I'll pay all the bills. I'll pay the mortgage. I'll pay the phone bills. I'll pay all the car bills. And she said, you go follow your dream. And the person I was working for at that time was Robert Seals, and he ran a roofing company, and I was a manager, sales guy, whatever down there. And he said the same thing. He said, you need to quit your job and go follow your dreams. And I did. And it was a lot of work. We were broke. I paid myself nothing. I didn't make any money. My wife paid all the bills, and every penny that the company made, hired more employees, bought more product.
And you had kids at this time.
We just started having kids right there in the beginning. Started having kids. My wife was pregnant in a lot of the videos, a lot of the late night working. She worked after hours on the accounting. I did the turbo building and the R&D. She eventually quit her job, and we had a little bit of money saved up in the bank. I probably shouldn't say this, Cam, but I remember I'd saved my whole life, and I had $25,000 in the bank. And she quit her job, and I quit my job. I said, look, this is what we have to live on. We'll live like church mice and see how long this lasts. I mean, we've been in the same house this whole time, but when we first moved in there, we boarded off all the rooms, turned off the AC, and we actually put a swimming pool in the front room. And when it got hot, we would sit in the swimming pool. So she was pregnant, building turbos out of the garage, and to save money.
You would turn the AC off in the 100-degree summer.
In the 100-degree summer, and we filled up a swimming pool, and we would float in the swimming pool and watch TV.
Yeah, Jesus.
But eventually that money ran out, and we had to hire a few more people, and we started paying ourselves just a little bit, and it grew and grew and grew, and it's grown more than I ever could have imagined. 15 years ago, if someone asked what I thought KC Turbos was going to look like, I never could have imagined an operation like this.
Yeah,
And
you're at the, I can finally start stepping away from the business phase. You start just watching the business operate and do what you want to do instead of having to do what you have to do.
And people are often surprised to see where my office is.
Yeah. In the back corner.
The back corner of the cubicle
Let's
right
keep
next
Charlie
to everyone
quiet
else.
over there so no one talks to him.
Charlie's not in Hawaii on trips and traveling. Charlie's
on the dyno.
On the dyno, driving trucks. So I do get to do what I love. And most of my job now is research and development, racing trucks, building new turbos. So I love what I do. And I love who I work with. I love coming to work. I'll take a 3 or 4 day vacation, and I'm like, well, I'm ready to go back to work. What about you? I don't know. I can't get
I
away.
think that's why your hospitality is where you are. Because we used to work for a gentleman who would be gone most of the time, and there was always problems in the shop. But as I could see, you're here, you're doing it. Like everyone, it loves just the atmosphere.
Got my fingers on the post, avocado and toast, leather seats, jet plane, always ready to go. Catch a suntan on the roof of the yacht, a penthouse elevator, take us up to the top. In my suede.
Everyone loves it.
Yeah,
you know?
definitely an open atmosphere for people who actually want to learn something too. You are super knowledgeable. You're the most knowledgeable guy that I've probably met in a while.
I feel stupid. I feel stupid
compared to you.
We all have a lot to learn, but I realized today or the last couple of days I have a ton more to learn.
Yeah, and I learned most of my stuff from other guys that were teaching me. I've got a lot of people that taught me, and I learned from, and it's just you
can never learn from actually. To me, it was always hands-on. Hands-on, you learn the best. You can learn from your mistakes, but seeing it when watching videos and stuff. To me, I could never really learn that way. I had to be on the wrenches and behind it to really see how this is what makes doing it this way better than doing it this way. It's and you see the outcome of it. And it helps a bunch. But yeah,
that was cool. talking about learning, you just sitting down and opening up your laptop, I was amazed at all of the stuff you know about YouTube. And
Oh yeah,
the,
I guess
the
vice versa.
thumbnails
Vice
and the-
versa.
Yeah.
I could talk to you all day about YouTube.
Exactly,
I would
yeah.
school everyone in here about YouTube.
I was
'cause
just
I've
like
been doing it
zoned
for
in,
so
taking
long.
notes, writing down.
Yeah, I mean, I could school everyone on YouTube, but when it comes to like the actual wrenching side of things, I'm not. I'm just absorbing information, learning. It's not really something.
But you
that-
learned a lot in the past 6,
Oh, in the
9
past,
months.
yeah,
You know,
the past
what
8
crazy-
months I've actually had my shop. I've learned a lot. I've seen a lot. So there's a lot of stuff you make mistakes on, a lot of stuff you learn from, and that's something that I've, built my audience off of, as well as people who are younger. That's like 90% of my audience is kids who are younger and trying to look and learn and get that. That's how we actually posted a video looking for jobs or whatever, and 85% of them were younger kids trying to look and learn. So it's definitely there. People are still wanting to do.
You need them. Your phone
Yeah.
is ringing
Oh,
off
yeah.
the hook
I need-
all
we
day
need
long.
mechanics.
You're just answering
we
the
need
phone.
mechanics. We need someone to work for us. So definitely need some help.
Hey, anyone watching
Yeah,
the show,
yeah,
looking for a
reach out.
job,
Yeah,
you know, reach out
call
to
us.
We need
Please.
a mechanic for sure. We need someone to actually
Yeah, a
wrench.
damn good one, too,
Yeah,
yeah.
a damn good mechanic. We need someone to actually wrench and do good work. That does good work. It's hard to find those nowadays. But Charlie, I know you wanted to ask this question, but I asked this. One of my most popular videos was like, what is the most unreliable diesel? Now going into that, are y'all guys also going to be making some stuff for like Cummins and Duramax as well?
Yeah, we actually do Cummins and Duramax. It's not our most popular products. We're not known as well in the Cummins
Yeah.
world. Sometimes people are surprised. In the Ford world, oftentimes you say KC turbos, and people are like, oh yeah, I've heard of them. You go to the Cummins world, you know,
Yeah,
it's
they're
a
like, who's
whole-
that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
We've gotten some calls like that though. Hey, could you give me a KC turbo for my Cummins? And they're like, well, I'm not too sure if they make them yet. Let me go check. That's something I want to ask you.
We reman a ton of Cummins turbos right now.
A lot of whole sets.
Yeah, a lot of whole
Lot
set
of
turbos. We have a couple of options for them, but I didn't want to just slap a bunch of billet wheels and turbos and sell them. So I was trying to come out with something innovative, and we do have some pretty cool innovative products coming out for
There's
them.
something really cool coming
Okay.
soon.
The
for
5.9
When do they get out? When do they come out?
I'm hoping later this year.
Yeah.
Okay.
For example, something we're releasing is a 3rd gen 5.9 Whistler VGT. So it'll make your 5.9 sound just like a 6.0.
Damn.
And it spools faster than stock and good for about 600 horsepower.
600 horsepower on a 5.9 is
Yeah. I mean, your
wild.
trans would never last
Oh,
that
yeah.
long. You gotta build
Never,
the trans.
yeah.
The engine will take
Never.
it, but stock injectors, 600 horsepower, you got to build the trans, and it drives fantastic. So we are innovating. We've got some Duramax turbos, but we're revamping the whole lineup. We're working on a drop-in VGT for an LB7. I don't know if you know that the LB7 was the only Duramax non-VGT. We are making a VGT option for that. So
Before the cat eye.
Yeah.
so we're pushing away EcoBoost, Cummins, Duramax. We're coming for all those platforms,
Yeah.
and we're not leaving any of the Powerstroke stuff alone. We just revamped the 7.3 turbos. There's a 6.0 revamp coming, 6.7 revamp coming. The 6.4 I've been trying, guys. Like, I can't. You saw the
6.4,
it's torn apart at the
that's
shop
the one
'cause
thing I
he's
saw
been
too.
trying.
Is the 6.4 has hardly any turbos for it. I was like, the only thing y'all offer is a compound kit for it, a KC compound kit.
Drop-in turbo makes 1,000 horsepower,
Yeah,
spools like
that's
stock.
pretty
And
good,
we kind
yeah.
of came out of the park swinging,
Yeah.
and now we're trying to make something better. And I'm not going to release something that makes like 5 horsepower more. I want to make something incredible. So
How much horsepower can you make on a KC Fusion?
we have our
Like
truck makes about 1,000
1,000.
horsepower.
Like
1,000?
actually, yeah.
Like
Turbos are-
dynoed, what is the actual number? Do you know?
1,000.
Yeah.
1,000 rear wheel
1,018,
horsepower.
something like that.
1,018?
Yeah.
Oh,
Damn.
I've had a couple of customers show me 1,100 horse dyno numbers.
Is that spraying though? Or are you
No,
spraying?
no,
that's,
fuel
but
only.
that's
Fuel
like
only.
100
Damn,
overs,
shit.
dual fuelers, right?
Yeah,
So
there's
like
others,
big
not stock
fuel.
injectors.
Oh yeah, obviously you're not going to make that on stock.
With
you make
80s
like 600,
or
700.
100 overs and twin pumps, you'll be around 900 to 1,000 horsepower.
That's some bottom end work.
No,
No,
No.
6.4's
6.4's
low.
taken.
You probably
Yeah.
need pistons,
Yeah.
but
they do crack pistons, yeah. But if you don't crack a piston, the 6.4 bottom end will do well
Yeah,
over
it's-
1,000.
What what I'm saying is y'all 6.4?
Our 6.4 is fully built.
yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's ready for like 1,600 horsepower
Okay.
if we can get there with
Who's
drop-in turbos.
heads and stuff and blocks and pistons
Kill Devil
and-
Diesel.
It's all-
That's-
it's all Kill Devil. It's all
I won't
Jared.
run anything
Gotcha.
else. I've tried a lot. I'm not going to mention any other names, but Jared at Kill Devil Diesel knows what he's doing.
Oh, yeah.
The 6.4 engine's been in there for 4 or 5 years and beat the living crap out of that thing. Never had an issue. Hundreds of 1,000 horsepower dyno runs, racing down the track, towing boats. I mean, it never had a problem with our 6.4 engine.
When it's running, that's your daily.
When it's running. Hey, it had a couple of fuel system issues. and
What's
that's
wrong
the-
with
we
it
got
now?
that
What's wrong
done.
with it right now?
We blew the tranny because it made too much power,
Oh.
and then now he's testing all the turbos.
When the
trying
trans
to
guy
develop
took it
the
apart, he
next.
said it was like a grounding issue. You could
Oh,
see
yeah.
that it grounded through
Yeah,
the
yeah.
torque converter. And then the fuel system, I redid the fuel system 3 times in that truck. I'm talking all 8 injectors and both pumps.
Jesus.
3 times.
Expensive.
That's
yeah.
a lot of work too.
And no one could tell me it was wrong. They just said there's crap in your fuel system. We replaced the air dog multiple times, the whole fuel system. Come to find out, the pulley on the second K16 was wobbling and would take out the K16 and send crap through the system. But
Jesus.
so fix that. It's been
Yeah. New
fantastic.
pulley? Perfect.
It's not down right now. It's just we've been swapping turbos.
Yeah.
We're trying
Getting something custom made for it.
with larger AR housings on the turbine wheel. We're going to try larger AR
So
housings.
y'all were
on
thinking
the-
like a single turbo?
No.
No.
Well,
no
dropping
way.
compounds, yeah.
You single swap 6.4 guys are idiots.
Yeah, we get a lot of those.
Oh,
Everybody
my God,
in the world
so
wants
many calls
compounds.
about singles.
You have a
It's like
7.3, 6.0, 5.9 Cummins, 6.7 Cummins, Duramax. They all agree compounds are the
Yeah.
gas. God finally gave us a diesel
with the
with
compound out of the
compounds,
factory.
and there's idiots that pull it out to make less horsepower and more lag. I just think it's nuts. So no,
Yeah.
my 6.4 will never have a big single on it.
Yeah.
You drove that white 6.0 today?
the
non-VGT
the
6.0
non-VGT
that-
6.0 dog. Just wow.
You throw
That's what a
you throw a,
6.4
Yeah.
a single turbo on a 6.4, it'll
That's
drive
what-
like that.
That's exactly what it's
super
like.
You
Yeah,
take
it's still
that quick
pretty bad.
spooling, instant power, low
and make
end
less
torque
power.
monster. You can go big enough on a 6.4 to make more power, but under 1,000 horsepower, basically all negatives with a single
Yeah.
turbo. You're going to have more. I can show you dyno graphs. You're talking at 2,000 RPMs, you'll probably lose 800 or 900 foot-pounds of torque and 300 to 400 horsepower to make the same horsepower on the top end. It's stupid.
Yeah.
But let's get back to it. Are we going to do just powers? You asked me the worst engine. Let's do the worst and the
Worst
best.
engine.
The worst
engine.
and best.
Yeah.
Let's do Powerstrokes. Let's not get into those Cummins and Duramax guys. It's too many. Let's just do Powerstrokes. What about you? Which one's your
Me?
favorite? Which one's your least favorite?
Favorite. If we're going to do favorite and not reliable, I'd probably say the 6.4. Because the 6.4, I mean, it's just a rowdy something. Like,
It's
You get a lot of
just-
power out of
it's
it.
just
Yeah.
rowdy,
They're so
rowdy.
cool.
They're making a comeback
Yeah.
right now too.
Yeah, they
People
are.
time.
Yeah.
so easy to make
If
power
I'm gonna say
with.
unreliable, 6.4.
Yeah.
But and
So it's the
7.3 would-
least unreliable,
Yeah, but my
but
most
makes the most
favorite.
power.
And it's my
Yeah.
most favorite. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you got to kind of have a trade-off. You know, it's makes the most power and it's the least reliable.
Yeah.
So
That's
that's kind of how it. Yeah, that's kind of how it is.
Yeah,
But if I
Charlie
were
and
to
I,
do,
We say the same thing. 6.4, it's the best running diesel anyone's ever made when it runs.
When it runs.
When it
yeah.
runs.
You got the money to keep it running.
It's the
They're
best.
incredible.
They're the best.
6.0, I really like the 6.0.
I love the
I
6.0.
started with the 6.0. I love the sound of a 6.0. The way that VGT turbo spools and sounds and comes on. My race truck's a 6.0. I don't know. I really like the 6.0. But there's something about the 7.3. Like I said, I kind of want an OBS 7.3. Something about that old, rattly, reliable diesel that makes me love the 7.3. The 6.7s have really been growing on me. When they first came out, I feel like the technology just went there. I don't know if it's the tuning or the turbo options, but it just really never impressed me. But in the last few years, they've come a long way. The tunes have gotten way better, especially we work with AMDP recently.
Yeah,
Those
dude.
guys are
Unreal.
incredible.
We use
That's
their
all we
tunes.
use, yeah. That's all we
use
trust.
their tunes.
Just throw a turbo and one of our turbos and a tune on a 6.7. You're
all you
making 600 horsepower,
Yeah.
tows great, runs great. It's
I towed my 6.0 up here with my 6.7.
Yeah.
Like literally,
They're
it's
incredible.
great, yeah.
Our favorite combination is the DCR and the KC. Like that,
Currently,
I mean,
yeah.
wakes the truck up.
amazing
humongous.
combo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's not your favorite though, is it?
6.7?
The 6.7.
No.
But
it's-
why? Like it's so reliable. They're newer. They're
just,
quiet. I don't know. I just can't say that one's my favorite though. It is growing on me though. I have a 2020 now with our new KC Whistler
Coming
on the
soon.
2020. We drove that today.
It was crazy.
Sounded great.
it's
Spooled
pretty
instant,
sick.
no smoke, great power. That's
So those are
tw-
for the 2020 and the 2021s.
You could put it all the way up to 24, but the
24.
tuning for the 20, the
that's-
later
22
yeah.
plus.
Yeah,
I
that's
think
all
that's
down.
still. I've heard people ECM swapping, but yeah, 20
Yeah.
to 24, but you won't get tunes for a 24 yet. But
Gotcha.
on a 20 and a 21, it's as close to a 6.0 that I felt from anything.
Gotcha.
The quick spool, like a 6.0, sorry, a 6.4, you would just tune it and make 600 horsepower with no smoke. I mean, you could make it smoke if you wanted, but I'm just saying it spooled quick enough that you could get it to run clean, make 600 horsepower, tow a house, and love it. The 11 and 19 6.7s don't do that.
Yeah.
They're a little laggier. They don't quite make that 600 to 650
Why is
as
that?
easy.
They did
Well,
a
the
bunch of
2020, they
changes.
changed a lot. They went to steel pistons. They went to higher injection pressure,
Yeah.
different injectors, and a completely different turbo system. It's a teeny tiny dual ball bearing VGT turbo, and they spool up super fast. But they made a ton of back pressure from the factory. Well, you put a little bit bigger turbo on there, and now a 2020 with a KC turbo will spool like a 6.4 and make like 650 horsepower.
So what are the problems with putting like a 2024 if they put your KC turbo on it and didn't tune for it? What could be a problem with doing that?
The turbo's electronically controlled, so it'll be held back.
Okay,
You know,
so
they
it just-
limit the
it
boost,
just
they
wouldn't make
limit
all
the
power
EVP,
that
it
you
won't make all
had.
the power.
Okay, so there's really no like
You won't be able to
engine
max
problems
out the
that you
power.
could have from doing that.
No, they're pretty
think
reliable.
so, yeah.
The 600 to 700 horsepower range, okay, they can twist the cam
Yeah, the
gear.
cam gears like
It's not
spin.
super common, but that's the only thing I
That's
know
what we're
that
going to
goes
probably
out.
need to do with yours is weld that.
Yeah,
crate.
weld the
cam gear.
Weld the
Yeah.
cam gear, and
That's
then
what we did on my 6.0.
That's it.
Yeah, we
We
welded
thought
that.
we were gonna make a ton of power,
We
and
did.
Well, we might have sheared it with the nitrous, but I don't know.
Yeah.
But I mean, we had a pretty
welded
good dial.
We welded the cam gear so it didn't bust off the dial right there.
yeah.
So,
Well, the 6.0 at least has a dial. The 6.7
it doesn't.
no dial. It's just pressed on there. There's nothing to stop it
Holy
from
shit.
spinning except for
Okay,
the press
that's
fit.
crazy.
So they spin.
Weld it.
So you got to
yeah,
weld.
you got to weld it. Yeah.
Well, they're tied into the CP4 also, so I think there's a lot of stress on that gear. The crank,
Yeah,
the
a
cam,
lot
the
of drive
CP4
force, yeah.
are all right there. But I don't know. So your favorite 6.4?
Yes.
I'm gonna go. Mine's tied right now. I don't know. I can't choose. It's too much.
It's
I
so
love the
hard to
6.0.
choose.
I love the 6.4 when it's running, but I've been really liking that 2020 with the KC
Yeah.
Whistler on it. That could be taking my spot for the favorite eventually. I got to drive it a little more. And you ask about
You
all
have
the
to give
trucks.
one,
That's
though. You have to
because
give one.
I'm driving a. People ask, "What do you drive?" It's like, well, I don't know what day of the week.
Yeah,
Depends on which turbo we're
Big
testing.
baller over
Yeah.
here.
Shit, you can't talk. You do the same thing.
Oh,
Yeah, you
okay.
drive a different
Yeah,
truck
this is
every
what I
day.
eat
I've
for.
seen a
I have
bunch of your
4 diesel,
videos.
yeah.
You got a bunch of trucks
I
too.
do. I have 4 diesel trucks, so it's like I do the same shit. But
you know.
yeah, that's my only thing I spend money on is basically just trucks.
Yeah.
So
So I'm gonna go. Here's my answer. My favorite diesel is gonna be the same thing as my favorite car. It's always the next one I'm gonna be working on because I just get bored and I get super excited to do something else. So for right now, I'm pretty excited to be driving the 2020 with the new Whistler turbos on there. But I just bought another 6.0. I got some non-VGT stuff on there. You drove it today.
Oh, yeah.
I want to make some killer S300, S400 turbos. So I'm super excited to start working on that truck. So for me, it's always the next one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever's
Okay.
coming next.
you,
It's the Harley, dude.
the Harley, you're
6.0
saying now,
Harley.
he's in love with that truck.
That truck
Yeah.
is so sweet.
It's so nice.
So clean. Did you ride in it?
Yeah,
It's mint.
No, I don't think I.
Interior is like perfect.
Yeah, it's
Paint job's
pristine.
great. It's
Yeah.
a pristine 6.0 Harley.
What about you, Justin?
Well, my favorite or my most reliable?
We did
Favorite.
favorites first.
The
Favorite,
favorites? I'd probably say the 7.3. 7.3
7.3.
is just
Classic.
basic. Yeah, I mean, it's
Legendary.
basic. I mean,
Classic.
super easy to work on. Nothing really
Yeah.
hard to get to. Like, and now all the new ones are piling shit in there. You know?
If you asked me 3 months ago, it might have been 7.3 because we were working on the 7.3 giveaway truck.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And we did
That truck does haul ass too.
Right.
You were surprised.
Yeah, I was surprised.
I got
yeah.
in there and suddenly it's making 50 pounds of boost and
Yeah.
roasting the tires
I was
at
like,
50 miles an
so
hour.
I bet you, I might have already said this on the podcast, but I bet you that you wouldn't beat my 6.0 for $10. And then right when you got into it, I was like, ooh, I shouldn't have
I shouldn't have done that.
Shit, I would have never believed
$10.
$10 on the table.
I'm gonna beat yours.
You got to keep that boot on there, though. My boots stay on. So barely.
We got a warehouse full of clamps, dude. I'll put
Yeah.
like 40 of them on there.
Once we started pushing over 50 pounds of boost, the boots just won't stay on. They just
Yeah.
pop. You know.
Yeah.
We gotta. I don't know.
probably
I
need to,
haven't
like-
had a 7.3 making 50 pounds of boost before.
Maybe
I
have
haven't had
some
problems with the
rippled
boots blowing.
intercooler pipes. Maybe
Yeah.
custom make some, more
We need
humps in them.
to what is that thing called on the end? The
Remit more.
the mandrel piece. We need to redo
They just
that.
have too much slip. Like even with low boost, you have too much slip, and I feel like stock pipes. Like
We're gonna
they come
brace
off
it.
real easy. Yeah.
I think we're gonna weld something to the intercooler and weld something to the pipe and put
Yeah,
a
it'd be
brace
like a
across.
Yeah.
two-stroke
Yeah.
exhaust. Just put a spring
Yeah.
on it.
Yeah.
Good enough.
I mean, I don't
Something.
know many boots are gonna hold up to 50.
So you're going to
That's
weld
wild.
the pipe to the intercooler?
No, I'm gonna weld like a bolt on the intercooler, and I'm gonna weld a bolt on the intercooler pipe, and then I'm gonna put a brace across the bolt.
Okay.
So basically, the bolts will be holding the pipe and the intercooler
Yeah.
steady,
And so
so
the
that the stress
boost-
isn't on the boot. The
Yeah.
stress is on that.
That's
Yeah.
smart.
That way we'll
That's
just
really
rip
smart,
a hole in the side of the intercooler.
Or
dude.
V-band it, one or the other.
Yeah, or
Yeah.
V-band.
50 pounds of boost when that thing launches, it's gonna come close to your 60 foot.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I don't think it'll beat it, though.
You don't think so?
Maybe the 60 foot, but definitely not the 0 to 60.
So you haven't put any rules on this. I'm allowed to add nitrous.
Yeah.
No,
Slicks,
I
whatever I
did-
want.
I
You
did
didn't
put-
say
I
earlier.
did
He
put-
has a
You're
lot
going
more than
back
his
on it.
disposal. He has a lot
Yeah,
more
he-
than
he-
us.
a lot
Yeah.
more,
Yeah, a lot of parts.
lot more,
on
yeah.
there.
Jet engine on the
Yeah.
back,
Yeah.
whatever
Yeah.
it takes. No, as is. I'll just launch.
You're
it
going to
as is.
spend $500 for that $10. And I guess
He's
some
gonna
bragging
spend a
rights.
lot more. Than that.
Way more.
Well, it's been
Charlie
great.
doesn't like to lose, bro.
Cool. Well, thanks, guys. It's been great having you at the
Yes,
podcast.
sir.
If someone wants to find you, I know you're on YouTube, but that's not the best way to get a hold of
Yeah.
you, is it? What's the best way to get a hold of you guys?
Yeah, so you can call our phone number. It's 210-385-8153. We have a 210 number. We're eventually going to change that to a Bryan, Texas number because we're located in Bryan, Texas. That's where a lot of people misconception is that we're located in San Antonio. We're not. We're located in Bryan, Texas. You can also buy all of the products on our website. So we sell y'all's products on our website. We're a dealer for y'all. You can buy all the products on the website, and we prefer if y'all buy them from us, not KC Turbo.
Yeah, go for it. Hop on their
So
website.
it's going to help out both of us. If
Yeah.
y'all buy it from us, it's going to help out me and him. If y'all buy it from him, it's just going to help out him. So
Yeah, so just
y'all can
buy from us,
Just,
for sure.
just buy it from me.
Yeah, buy from me.
But you
buy
sell
from
more
me.
than just turbos, right? You got a whole website with all
I have
sorts
a whole website. I've got injectors, turbos on there. I've got I've got full force diesel on there. I've got unlimited diesel performance on there. I've got all the injectors on
So
there.
you guys do it all. Mechanic work, you
Yes.
sell the parts,
Sell the
and
parts.
a YouTube star.
Literally-
PSCrepair.com.
Living the dream.
PSCrepair.com is where you can get all
PSC.
Paul, Sam, Charlie. That's our go-to every time we
Powerstroke
call
Central.
Ford dealership or Napa or O'Reilly's. It's Paul, Sam, Charlie, Automotive and Diesel Repair. That's what it is. It's not PSC because they'll be
PSE?
like PSC. No, it's not PSC. It's PSC.
Awesome.
You know,
Well,
iffy.
if you guys want, check them out online, YouTube, give them a call, check out
Yes,
their
sir.
website. If you guys have any questions for them, I'm sure they'll be watching this video, checking out the comments. Make
Yeah.
sure to like and subscribe, comment below. If you want to see anyone else on the show or have anyone else stop by the shop, let us know. Until next time,
Peace
we're
out.
out.
See ya.